So our third topic with our guests, we have Joe, a Green Party representative, Angela. She is a Libertarian Party representative in California. Matt is a center Republican in the great state of Texas. And Tho, he is our Republican in Florida. Last night, CNN, they had an article online for 8 hours, their headline article about the Justice Department investigating presidential pardons and bribery. Joe, with the Green Party, is this something that the Justice Department should be going after right now?
It absolutely should have, and it also should be going after it over the last 10 administrations as well. I don't think there is a single president that on his way out of office has not gone through and accepted favors in exchange for some of the pardons. You start taking a look at the big names, donors, arrangements. Obama was definitely guilty. Trump, strongly suspect. Bush before him. These were people who were setting these the presidents up for success after they leave their administration. Book deals, arrangements like that, all in exchange for making sure that certain friends of the government get pardoned. And every one of the administrations need to be called to task for arranging those favors.
So is it bribery if he pardons somebody?
Oh, if there's a true quid pro quo, I'm just glad that assuming that the institution does not come out and reverse the election for Donald Trump, it would be appropriate if the final big scandal, again, it's another forward-reaching, the media making a big claim, not being able to back it up, and then giving us an excuse to look back to the Clinton era corruption. The first thing that comes to mind is Mark Rich and the pardon that Bill Clinton sold him in exchange for donations to the library. So that's going to bring up some more nostalgia there, as a lot of these scandals have. But I don't think there's anything that's going to be happening there. What is going to be interesting is I do think that you're going to have a increasing drumbeat for Trump to try to proactively pardon members of his family, because he has no reason to think that a Biden administration or New York Department of Justice up there is not going to go after them for political ends. So I think there's going to be a lot of pardon talk in the next few weeks, but I don't think this is going to end up being the scandal that ends up bringing down Donald Trump.
Sure, Angela, there was about 3,000 words in this CNN article. And at the end of it, it was not very clear to understand from an independent standpoint. As a libertarian, what did you get out of their headline article?
Well, I'd say that I think Joe gave us some pretty broad perspective on this. So we should keep in mind that this is not something that just happens with Donald Trump. It's happened throughout history. I certainly don't think that perspective was offered in this article. I think it was really inflammatory, and it's written to imply that the Trump administration is already at fault, although it does have to begrudgingly admit that it doesn't have any evidence of fault by anyone at the White House yet. It's possible that the alleged bribery and maybe quid pro quo request were totally unsolicited, and they could be rebuffed by the White House staff. So I think we should keep in mind that we don't have the full picture here, and this is something that gets alleged at every every presidential administration. They sure did sort of come out really strong at the end of the article and say that Flynn and Roger Stone were liars, but they didn't call out any of the wrongful acts or crimes of the other people who were convicted and subsequently pardoned, and they did drop quite a few names. I just think CNN is the Trump derangement network.
Sure. So, Matt, to that point, though, going through their headline article, I mean, this is the one that's going to get the most clicks, the most views. This is the one that they're advertising throughout CNN. They talk about in there that the writer wants to seize or look at seizing mobile devices, but there's no evidence that the government is going to do that. Should CNN be printing something like that?
Yeah, speaking out of both sides of my mouth, my centrism is coming through here. Absolutely not. This is the exact same thing we saw with some of these Fox News articles. They are printing information based on loose sources and made up situations. At the end of the day, yeah, probably President Trump probably accepted some bribes. So did Barack. So did W. So did Clinton. So did everyone before them. Yeah, quid pro quo is a thing. And yeah, it may be illegal, but it's continued to happen. And if they can prove it and they can, get it to a point where he's going to be prosecuted for it, then so be it. But until that happens, we don't need to be inferring. We don't need to be causing more drama. The election is over. The election is about to, if it hasn't been already, about to be officially certified. It's done. Just move on. We need to move this country forward.
We've got 2 minutes left, and I've got a whammy for you. Speaking of presidential pardons, should Edward Snowden get a pardon from the Green Party? Joe,
Yes.
Angela,
Yes.
Tho,
Yes.
Matt.
Why not?
Great. We appreciate it, guys. Thanks for coming on. We'll see you next time. If you like me as a host, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye, guys.